Welcome to TBK Nationwide from Talladega. Our pole winner was Andrea Giacchi in the 16 Ford. He led a field of 34 down, and Covey Moore, Eddie Lynch, Josh Tortoni, Joey Adji, David Hetzel were the top six. And coming down lap 2, though, it was Leon Davis contending with Shane Gardner. Paul Smith goes and makes it free wide. Smith has recently moved up into second in points after Chris Pettit has been slipping very fast lately. And then we see our newest competitor. This is Danny Marin. He's driving for Corey Stott's team, the bright blue and red wheeled 02 Showbiz Graphics Stratosphere Chevy. Was running tail end Charlie at this moment, and then we'd have Alexandre Quiros take the lead, one of the few drivers who could lead consecutive laps in this high action-packed race. And then you see Quiros and Langlois. Our first caution was on lap 7. See Scotty Nicholson gets into Phil Wilkes. Spinny Tortoni goes spinny. Takes Ryan Wilson with him, and George Treppy just gets clipped by Wilson. And you see that was very minimal damage on everyone. Here's Treppy. He's pretty much at the last car on right in the lead lap, and then just gets clipped there by Ryan Wilson. And he goes spinning. No real damage to that car. And then one car that did have damage because of an engine failure was Brendan Langlois. Started last, will finish last after he spews a bunch of liquid debris all over Wayne Stell's windshield, and it was Katterberg leading on the restart. And you see a couple cars going up and getting the wall. Caution 2, lap 15. This was the bigger wreck. Randy Winston, Covey Moore, Gail Brooks, Tommy Toe, Chris Pettit, David Hetzel, 2 of the top 3 in points. Dega wrecking, and here's Hetzel's roof camera. You see the wreck ahead of him. You see he tries getting it, and then Quiros and Moore get him. He gets some damage on the hood, and then watch this. Just clips Leon Davis and spins. Looks like Leon's going back to his normal schedule of poor finishes, and then this happens. Weird one. Mitch Kent, and then flips Randy Winston unintentionally on pit road, and Leon Davis also gets caught up. All 3 would have to retire, and Hetzel was in the pits for well over a lap with damage repair. Joe Dahl would take the lead soon after the restart, and he had one of the strongest cars in the race. See the main pack there, and then here's Chris Pettit and Ryan Wilson holding up the field. They were limping around. They decided to use the middle and let everyone pass them on the inside or outside. And Simon Topham and Joey Adji were the front runners at this point. Here we see more cars, and that's Marin and Tortoni, but you see Paul Smith, second in points. Camshaft went on the car. He would finish deep in the field. Once again, Marin and Tortoni had some problems, so they were still slow. Here you see Lynch, Adji, and Wilkes got trapped behind him along with Joe Daw. And so those 4 get behind him and try catching back up to the main pack. Soon afterwards, and some more lap cars resulted in Joe Hance, Shane Gardner, Wayne Stell, and Andrea Giacchi and Jake Poo in the 29, forming their own small group, and they would stay this way for most of the race until towards the end when the lead pack finally caught up to them. This was about halfway. Caution 3, lap 41. This wasn't anything major, but Quiros squeezes Simon Topham into George Treppy. Topham spins, gets some damage, and goes on the apron, no harm, no foul. A lot of slow cars on the inside lane. This would cause havoc, as some guys would on this restart. See, Dog goes on the outside, but some guys would decide to go in the low lane and try to draft. I really don't know what the drivers who did that were thinking, especially Mike Sarley. And then it was Joe Daw again getting the lead on the outside using Marin and Tortoni. And then it was Joe Hans, once again, another small group of cars popped out with Katterberg, Gardner, and Quiros and Still. Then, with just a handful of laps to go, the pack rejoined together, and it was a 16-car battle for the win. Daw would get out front, but this would end up hurting him as he was immediately shuffled towards the back. Then it was Shane Gardner and Eddie Lynch with Josh Chin, but you saw there 4 lap cars, Wilson, Tortoni, Marin, and Pettit. And pretty much no one was safe here. Gardner and Hans get an advantage, but still, they were stuck behind Pettit. And so coming up to the white flag, you see Pettit tries getting out of the way. Gardner still goes with him, thinking that's his best shot because he needs to get out around Danny Marin. And so taking the white flag, it would be Shane Gardner in the lead. And then coming to the white flag, it would once again be Shane Gardner leading, coming into turn 4. But Joe Hans gets a run. He decides to go low. Otto Bergman is in third, but he's too far behind to help either driver. Gardner is ahead, but then at the line, with just a few feet left, Joe Hans will take the victory over Gardner, Bergman, Wilkes, Adji, Treppi, Sarli, Quiros, Alston, and the Chris Pym was 10th. And that's all for now.